I'm Chris Sanchez, and welcome to Sonoma Views, where we talk property management, real estate, restaurant reviews, interviews, what's going on in Sonoma County, and everything in between. Thank you very much for being here. Today's topic is on property management, landlord-tenant rights, and it is a beautiful sunny day, by the way, here in Sonoma County. I am out posting notices on rental properties, and I've been at it for the past hour all over the county, and I still have about another hour to go. And I have the trailer with me, so I actually have to go drop out the trailer so I can head out to West County and get into some narrow areas, and then head over to the east side of Sonoma County. So going to Windsor and heading over to Gurneville, which is West County, and then heading across to the other end out in Sonoma, the opposite end of the county, and then I'll be done for the day. Well, done on the road anyway. I'll still have to do some follow-ups and emails for the proof of the notice being posted. So I want to talk about landlord-tenant rights and how to give notice to the tenants when a landlord can and cannot enter a rental unit, and what are the tenant rights. First and foremost, the tenants have the right to quiet enjoyment. And by the way, just a side note, I'm in Sonoma County, California. I go based off California law. If you're watching this out of state, or you're in some sort of city that has some weird ordinance or some specific local ordinance, then check on that. But I'm going based on Sonoma County and California real estate law. So, back to my story. Tenants have the right to quiet enjoyment. So when they rent a unit, one of their legal rights is to actually enjoy that rental unit, that rental property, with peace and quiet, without having the landlord come by all the time, snooping around, providing a nuisance, bugging the tenant all the time. It's just the right to quiet enjoyment. So that's the first tenant right. Then if a landlord wants to enter a unit, it needs to be done for a specific reason. The landlord should not just not decide that, hey, I want to go in and call out of the blue and just say, hey, I'm on my way, especially announced, which is it's common courtesy and that's the right thing to do. But a landlord cannot enter the rental unit unannounced. So a landlord must give a tenant a minimum 24-hour notice to enter a rental unit. Now the key word is enter the rental unit, which would be the dwelling, whether it's a studio apartment, one-bedroom apartment, single-family home, you name it. Okay, so the dwelling, it's the enter the dwelling. So there's the emphasis. If a landlord wants to go out on the front yard and look at a tree, you're not entering the dwelling. You're not going on the inside and invading a tenant's privacy. Now, from a common courtesy and a practical standpoint, and how can I put this? Good business practice, we give a courtesy notice to the tenants if I'm going to be just showing up on site. I don't know, especially on weekends, man. You don't know if they have friends, family member over, boyfriend, girlfriend, kids' birthday party, barbecue. You don't know what they're doing. So again, courtesy notice. Even if I'm just going to be showing up to the exterior, I give a courtesy notice. It's not a legal requirement, but it is common courtesy. It's respectful and it's good business practice. So that's what I do when I'm going to be out on the exterior, or if I know that one of the vendors is going out to do something. Hey, we have this handyman or this contractor has to go outside and look at the side gate or look at the fence, or have a landscaper going out to look at the sprinklers in the front yard. You don't have to give a notice to enter because you're not entering the rental unit. You're not entering the dwelling. However, it is good courtesy, so we post generally by phone and email, have some sort of written notice letting them know, hey, a courtesy notice, this person's going to be stopping by. If you see somebody walking around, no alarm. It should not be an intruder. You don't have to call the cops. It's one of our vendors is going to be out. He's going to be on site or on the premises, and that's just a courtesy notice. Or even a roofer. If a roofer's going to go to the top of the roof and do an inspection, not entering the rental unit, not not entering the dwelling. Therefore, we would just give a courtesy notice if someone's just going to be up on the roof. And again, we don't want, what I try to avoid is surprises and a tenant flipping out or getting really concerned, especially let's say it's a single female, maybe it's a young lady, or maybe it's an older lady, as an example, freaking out, hey, somebody's in the back of the property, someone's on the roof, and then I would get the call anyway, so I might as well just address it in advance and give them a heads up. Again, courtesy, I don't know what they're doing. Now the legal notice to enter, it's with a minimum 24-hour notice, and even that, and just talking bluntly, it's short notice. If you're a tenant and it's 12 o'clock noon and you're at work and all of a sudden you get a message or a call from your landlord saying, hey, you know, I'm stopping by tomorrow at 12 noon with my contractor, or I have a painter coming in, look at the house, or we're thinking of doing floor installation, I'm coming by with the flooring person tomorrow at 12 noon, and it's right at 24-hour notice, we'll be there at 12 noon or 1 o'clock. That sucks, but that's the legal requirement. It is what it is. As long as the landlord notifies the tenant with a minimum 24-hour notice, then they can legally enter, whether the tenant likes it or not. We're not asking for permission. We're giving a legally required notice. Now again, you don't know what the tenant's doing. If the tenant has plans, they're working from home that day, grandma or parents are here from out of town and they're hosting company. I don't know. It's just, that's what it is. So legally 24-hour notice. I always try to do 48-hour notice when possible and when practical. Sometimes we're cutting it close and just, I don't have the time. I didn't schedule things. Give you an example right now. Right now, I am posting notices for inspections that I'm doing on Friday, and today is Saturday. So I'm posting notice for things that are 1 week ahead. I have inspection out. I have to go into a duplex, 2 units in Guerneville on Wednesday. I'm posting notice today and actually posting the notice to the front door. And I'll talk a little bit more about the method, how we do it. But I am giving the tenants a written notice today on Saturday. And when I'm expected to be there on Wednesday, I'm doing notices right now, which were probably about 10 of them. And for the entire week coming up, I'll pull it over real quick just so we get better audio. I'm posting notices for the entire week, all the way up through next Friday, and today is Saturday. So I'm getting it done, out of the way. I don't have to worry about it, and giving people the proper courtesy and the proper notice, giving the tenants. So again, I'm only required 24 hours, but I'm giving plenty of notice, especially the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They're going to have plenty of time to, I don't know, maybe they have a mess, they want to clean up, tidy up, maybe they want to, whatever. It's inspection day, the place should look good. So that's the legally required notice. Courtesy notice is just, courtesy if we don't have to enter the rental unit. And also there should be a reason, there should be a purpose for the intended entry. Landlord can't just decide, whatever, the wind blows a certain direction, I want to go inside and check on these guys, and just either show up unannounced or just show up for the hell of it, or too much. Their landlords come in all shapes and sizes. Some of them professional, some of them are not. So we'll just leave it at that. And so I get it. I hear tons of story from different tenants and different landlords. So we'll just leave it at that. The purpose of intended entry: if a landlord has a prospective purchaser, so somebody who's going to buy the property, they could give a notice to enter to show the property to prospective purchasers. Real estate appraisers, for example, insurance inspectors with regard to homeowners insurance, or lenders. Even if the property, let's say, as an example, we're in March right now, a tenant gives us a notice on March 1st, and they're supposed to be out by the end of March, which means that the property should be vacant April 1st, given simple numbers. So you landlord, you have a tenant who gave you notice, a 30-day notice that they're moving out. Landlord still has still has the ability to, or the legal right to go in and show the rental unit to prospective tenants. And there's pros and cons to that. That's another video. That's another topic. But it has pros and cons. But a landlord can, if the place is going to be going up for rent, your tenants gave you a notice that they're moving out. If you have somebody lined up who is a potential new tenant for that place, you can go in there and give the tenants a proper notice to enter, and then show up, and hopefully you show up at the time that you agreed to, because if the tenants can be home, they do not necessarily need to be home, but they might prefer to be there because they have personal belongings. They have just their privacy. You're going into their bedroom, might be looking in their closets, and again, privacy. We'll just leave it at that. So tenants may choose to be present during the inspection, and they're perfectly fine to do so. It's their stuff. They have not moved out. So you should have a purpose. If you're going to do repairs, the tenants need to give access to the landlord or the landlord's contractors, the vendors, to make necessary repairs. And maybe the furnace needs to be serviced. Maybe preventative maintenance, just going through, doing an inspection, and we're going through with the contractor, looking for leaks around the sinks, toilets, looking for mold. To make repairs, a tenant needs to allow the landlord access to do that. If they don't, then you're going to have a problem. But remember, when the landlord is giving a notice to enter, they are not asking for permission. You are giving them, as long as you do it with enough time, 24-hour minimum to enter the rental unit, you're able to. Now, here's a kicker. Look at your rental agreement. Depending how your paperwork is set up, my lease agreement states that landlord has the right to enter, and then obviously the legal reasons, which are showing it to prospective tenants, prospective purchasers, appraisers, inspectors, etc. The city inspector needs to get in there, whatnot. But my lease agreement states that it has to be done during normal business hours. So I can't decide, hey, call my tenants and say, hey, I'm stopping by Sunday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to go, I don't know, I'm going to work on the light fixtures, or I'm going to go work on the plumbing in the bathroom. One, that's not cool. Two, my lease agreement does not allow me to do that. It specifically says it's during normal business hours. So Sunday morning, families together, you don't know if they have company over. It sucks, and that's just the deal. So hopefully this information, oh, I'm sorry, one last thing. Posting notice, I always do it in writing. It's best to have it in writing, because if you operate based on Murphy's Law like I do, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And if somebody, especially tenants, it's very easy for them to say, oh, I didn't get a notice, and blame you. So I operate from the perspective, as a property manager, I practically operate from the position that I am guilty until proven innocent. That's just it. It's, if I cannot prove my actions or what I said I did, it's almost like it didn't happen, and I'm opening it up to let the tenant be right, and I don't do that. So if, let's say, my contractor shows up and he's going to do some sort of repair on there, I don't know, maybe install smoke alarms or test them, some repair that was agreed, I send them out, he shows up and the tenants are home, like, oh, you guys didn't tell me that you were coming today. Contractor says, hey, the tenant won't let me in. Then the tenant calls in and they're pissed off. It's like, hey, nobody told us that they were coming in here. Even though we may have told them, if I can't prove that I gave them legal notice, they might as well just be right. So because of that, I take a extra precaution. So as an example, earlier today, which was in the afternoon, I typed up a written notice to enter. Oh, as a matter of fact, I have them right here because I am on my way. And I don't want to show the address, but there you go. Notice to enter. Literally, it says notice to enter. So what these have is the date, the time, very clearly, the date, the time, and then the purpose, the reason for the intended entry. And this one is, I just did some other ones. Property inspection for condition and routine maintenance. I'm going in with the contractor to make sure that everything is working as it should be, and it will make necessary repairs if we need to. So written notice, I sent them by email, so the tenants received it in the email. Plus, I'm going and literally posting these on the front door with blue tape. And I use the blue tape because it's painter's tape. It's masking tape, and it's better for the paint, the doors, or the trim. It peels off easier, so it doesn't have super strong holding power, but the trade-off is when you peel it off, it's not going to peel and chip the paint. So that's why I use the blue tape. Plus, it's clearly visible. When a tenant comes home, it's pound right there on the front door. And not just that, I don't stop there. You post it on the front door and use your phone camera, take a photo of the notice literally posted to that door, and take a photo of the address, the house address number, and have it on there. Try to dispute that. So if I have my bases covered, if these tenants call and say, hey, you guys didn't tell me that you were coming by today, and I don't know, maybe just getting out of the shower or working from home, or they have company over. Oh, you didn't tell me you were coming? Yes, I did. And I'm going to have an email that went not just to one tenant, but all email addresses we have on file for that house, because sometimes there might be 3-4 people living together. That email went to all 4 people that we have on file with email addresses. Plus, we posted the notice on the front door. Plus, I took a photo of the notice on the front door. And then what I do, which is just one extra step, we're a company and we have a team, so I am going to email that, email the photo, and that'll be a record and a further record that I actually did it. So no excuses. I am right. I do not want to be accused of showing up to a tenant's place, one of our rental properties, and that they did not receive the proper notice. So there you have it. I'm over 17 minutes already. I did not think it was going to take this long, but it is a very, very important topic. I hope you learned something. I hope there's something valuable that you could use as in your business and landlording business and real estate investing. Or if you're just a tenant, maybe you learned something about your tenant rights, and you could stand your ground. There are some shady landlords out there, and just shady people in general. So that's all I have. Thank you for watching. This is Sonoma Views. Please subscribe if you'd like to receive future videos, and I'm out.